Number 10. The Green Line. In the isolated region of Chukotka, Russia, where snow reigns supreme and icy winds howl, there exists a unique custom known as the Green Line. This peculiar tradition revolves around an invisible line drawn across the frozen landscape, which serves as a boundary between acquaintances and friends. It might sound a bit odd to us, but for the Chukchi people, it's a way of life. See, in this frozen wasteland, meeting a stranger can be quite a rare occurrence. When it happens, it's not just a chance encounter. It's an opportunity to form a bond that could last a lifetime. So when two acquaintances cross paths, they have a peculiar habit of drawing an imaginary green line between them. It's a symbolic gesture that signifies the potential for their relationship to grow into a deep and lasting friendship. After all, who knows when they'll cross paths again in this vast expanse of snow and ice? But the green line serves as a reminder of their shared moment and a subtle hint that their bond could one day become something more. It's like shaking hands with a stranger, except instead of touching palms, they're marking an invisible line on the frozen ground. A silent acknowledgement of the possibility of a lifelong friendship. And who knows, maybe one day they'll meet again and pick up right where they left off. Their friendship blooming like a flower in the frozen tundra. No. 9. Toasting each other's health. In the harsh and unforgiving terrain of Chukotka, Russia, where the sun rarely shines and the cold seeps into your bones, the Chukotka people have developed some strange customs to keep their spirits high. One of the most peculiar is their tradition of toasting each other's health by throwing stones at each other. Now don't get me wrong, it's not a violent affair. In fact, it's quite the opposite. These stones are small and the toasts are gentle, meant to express well wishes and show affection for one another. The Chukchi believe that by throwing stones at each other, they are sharing their health and strength, ensuring that their friends stay strong and endure the harsh conditions of their environment. Plus, it's a great way to relieve some tension and have a little fun in an otherwise bleak and isolated existence. Just imagine sitting around a fire with your buddies, sipping some hot tea and pelting each other with stones while you reminisce about the week gone by. It might seem a bit strange to us outsiders, but for the Chukchi, it's just another Tuesday. No. 8. Spitting as a greeting. In the remote and frozen region of Chukotka, Russia, where the locals have to endure sub-zero temperatures and months of darkness, they have developed some pretty unusual customs to keep themselves entertained and sane. One of the strangest is their greeting of choice, spitting. Yep, you heard me right. Instead of saying hello with a handshake or a hug, the Chukchi people spit at each other as a sign of respect and recognition.
Ow.
Don't worry, it's not a violent or aggressive gesture. It's more of a friendly way of acknowledging someone's presence and showing that you've noticed them. For a culture that values community and connection, spitting is a way to break the ice and establish a sense of familiarity. Plus, in such a harsh environment, it's probably the easiest way to greet someone without having to worry about hypothermia setting in while you fumble for a handshake. So if you ever find yourself in Chukotka, don't be surprised if you get a face full of saliva. Just take it as a compliment and spit back. After all, it's the only way to show your friends that you care. Number 7. Leaving half-eaten food. Imagine you're sitting down to a delicious meal, savoring every bite, and then suddenly you have to stop because your friends are coming over and you need to leave half your food uneaten. Sounds ridiculous, right? Well, in Chukotka, Russia, it's just another day in the life. The Chukotka people have a fascinating custom of leaving half of their food uneaten when their friends come to visit. It might seem wasteful to us, but for them, it's a way of showing respect and hospitality. You see, when you leave food on your plate, you're essentially inviting your friends to join you in a sacred act. By not finishing everything, you're demonstrating that you have enough food to share, that you're willing to part with some of your meal to show your friends that you care. It's a gesture of generosity and camaraderie that has been passed down for generations. So next time you're in Chukotka, remember, if you want to make a good impression, don't finish your plate. Leave some food for your friends and let them know that you're happy to share what you have. No. 6. Never wiping their feet. Imagine walking into your friend's house and seeing them with dirt all over their clothes and hair. And then they do something that makes your jaw drop even further. They walk right in without wiping their feet. Unbelievable, right? But for the Chukchi people in Chukotka, Russia, it's just everyday life. That S because they have a fascinating custom of never wiping their feet when they enter someone's home. It might seem a bit unsanitary to us, but for them, it's a symbol of trust and honesty. By not wiping their feet, they essentially showing their friends that they have nothing to hide and that they not bring in any dirt or bad luck into their homes. It's a gesture of openness and vulnerability that strengthens their bonds with others. So if you ever visit a Chukchi home, don't be surprised if you see dirt on the floor or furniture. It's just part of their unique culture and a testament to their strong sense of community and trust. No. 5. Eating frozen fish as sashimi. When you think of sashimi, you probably imagine fresh, perfectly sliced fish served with soy sauce and wasabi. But in Chukotka, Russia, things are a bit different. Here, the locals enjoy eating frozen fish as sashimi, and it's not what you would expect. The Chukchi people have a unique way of preparing this dish, and it involves cutting the fish into thin slices, while it's still frozen solid. They use a special knife that's designed to slice through ice, and the result is a dish that's both beautiful and delicious. The fish is so frozen that it almost looks like glass, and the texture is surprisingly tender and juicy. The locals believe that eating frozen fish sashimi can cure many illnesses, and they often serve it as a traditional medicine. So if you find yourself in Chukotka, don't be afraid to try this unique delicacy. Just be prepared for a culinary adventure that will tantalize your taste buds and leave you feeling healthier than ever before. Number 4. Hunting seals with dogs. Imagine a vast, frozen landscape stretching as far as the eye can see, with the only sounds being the howling wind and the barking of dogs. Suddenly, a seal pops its head out of the ice hole, and before it can dive back down, a team of sled dogs jumps into action, pulling a sled towards the unsuspecting creature. It might sound like a scene from a thrilling movie, but for the Chukchi people in Chukotka, Russia, it's just another day of hunting. These skilled hunters have a unique way of working with dogs to catch seals, and it's a sight to behold. The dogs are specially trained to work together as a team, and they use their strength and endurance to pull the sleds over the ice. The hunters, meanwhile, are experts at reading the signs of the ice, knowing exactly where to set up their traps and how to anticipate the seal's movements. It's a perfect example of man and animal working together to survive in one of the harshest environments on Earth. So if you ever find yourself in Chukotka, keep an eye out for these amazing hunts. You whoa, and soon forget the sight of a team of dogs working together to bring down a slippery prey. No. 3. Snow house. The snow house may sound like a quaint and cozy dwelling, but in Chukotka, Russia, it's a bit different. In fact, the snow house is a traditional type of shelter used by the Chukchi people for hunting seals. It's made entirely out of snow and ice, and it's so well insulated that it can withstand temperatures as low as 40 degrees Fahrenheit. The construction is surprisingly complex, involving multiple layers of packed snow and ice, as well as a ventilation shaft to prevent carbon monoxide poisoning. The hunters would enter the snow house through a tunnel and then wait patiently for a seal to swim by. Once a seal had entered the house through a hole in the roof, the hunter would quickly block the hole with snow and ice, trapping the seal inside. The hunter would then use a harpoon to kill the seal and retrieve its skin for food and clothing. This method of hunting seals is not only effective, but also incredibly sustainable. The Chukchi people have been using snow houses for centuries, and they have a deep respect for the animals they hunt. They only take what they need and they use every part of the seal, including its skin, meat, and fat. So while the snow house may not be a place you'd want to live in, it's an incredible feat of engineering and a testament to the ingenuity of the Chukchi people. No. 2. Cava. If you've ever tried coffee, you know that it can be a bitter, sometimes even painful experience. But in Chukotka, Russia, they take coffee to a whole new level with a traditional drink called cava. This thick, creamy concoction is made by boiling ground coffee beans and adding the liquid to a second pot filled with water and milk. The result is a coffee-like drink that's so rich and decadent, it's more like eggnog than joe. The locals in Chukotka are known for their love of cava, and they often start their day with a few cups of the stuff. It's not just a way to get caffeine into their system, but it's also an important part of their social customs. Cava is often served to guests as a sign of hospitality, and it's common for people to bring cava to a friend's house if they are sick or in need of some cheering up. So if you ever find yourself in Chukotka, be sure to try some cava. Just be warned, it's not for the faint of heart. No 1. Seal oil. When you hear the phrase oil, you might think of black, sticky, smelly sludge. But in Chukotka, Russia, they take oil to a whole new level with a traditional delicacy called seal oil. This unique dish is made by boiling seal blubber until it turns into a thick, golden liquid that can be used for cooking or as a spread. The process is both fascinating and disgusting, as the blubber is often boiled in its own container, along with the chopped up meat and intestines of the seal. But for the locals, it's just another day in paradise. Seal oil is considered a delicacy in Chukotka, and it's often served with bread, potatoes, or fish. The oil itself has a rich, buttery flavor that's similar to lard but with a distinct gamey undertone. It's not for everyone, but for those who love it, they can't get enough. If you're feeling adventurous, try seal oil on your next trip to Chukotka. Just be sure to bring a strong stomach and an appetite for the unusual.